From our Washington, D.C. studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. Kilmar Aburego Garcia's family has been moved to a safe house after the Trump administration posted their home address online. Garcia remains imprisoned in El Salvador. He was wrongly deported last month due to a government administrative error. The U.S. Supreme Court ordered for his return, but the President, Donald Trump, has ignored the directive. Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez Suara, and her 3 children have fled their Maryland home. This was after the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, and Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, posted a 2021 legal document that included their address. The document, a past protection order Vasquez filed and later dropped, was posted without redactions. Vasquez says she's scared for her children's safety, calling the situation terrifying. Critics, including legal analysts and human rights groups, condemned the Trump administration's move as reckless and possibly illegal. It has sparked growing outrage on social media, where many accuse the Trump administration of targeting the family. Meanwhile, Democrats have flown to El Salvador to push for Garcia's release. DHS has not responded to requests for comment. Federal agencies and state police have raided the homes of Free-Palestine activists tied to the University of Michigan. The FBI, Michigan State Police, and local departments conducted searches in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, and Canton. Several people were detained and questioned. Devices and personal items were seized. The Graduate Employees Organization, or GEO, a student workers union, has confirmed that 2 members in Ann Arbor were questioned, while 4 others in Ypsilanti were held briefly. In Canton, 1 home was raided and property from cars and homes was confiscated. GEO claims officers did not provide clear reasons or warrants for the searches. No injuries were reported and no visa holders were affected. Ypsilanti police confirmed their presence but said immigration officials were not involved. GEO condemned the raids, calling it political repression, and demanded accountability from state officials and the university. Executive producer of CBS News 60 Minutes, Bill Owens, has resigned, citing a loss of journalistic independence. In a memo to staff, Owens said he no longer could run the show freely and make editorial decisions based on journalistic merit. His exit follows mounting legal and political pressure, including a lawsuit from President Donald Trump. The president accuses CBS of unlawful behavior over a 2024 interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris, claiming it was deceptively edited. Owens, known for standing firm against Trump and corporate influence, refused to apologize as part of any settlement. Reports say Paramount Global's owner, Shari Redstone, pushed for a deal while seeking Trump administration approval to sell the company. The newsroom was left stunned by Owens' sudden move. He said 60 Minutes must continue its important work, just without him. CBS News President Wendy McMahon praised Owen for his leadership and integrity. The group Indivisible Chicago led a major protest in downtown Chicago on Wednesday. This was to warn against what it called a growing threat to democracy from President Donald Trump's political movement and the MAGA right. Organizers say Trump and his allies were dismantling core democratic principles, eroding fair elections, silencing dissent, and punishing critics. They urged citizens to rise up, protect civil liberties, and fight for community rights before it's too late. 12 U.S. states are suing the Trump administration, accusing it of unlawfully raising taxes on Americans through tariffs. The lawsuit was filed Wednesday in the U.S. Court of International Trade. It demands an immediate halt to the tariffs, warning of inflation, job losses, and economic instability. The White House claims the tariffs are necessary to combat trade deficits, calling them a national emergency. The lawsuit also claims that President Donald Trump is misusing the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, to declare emergencies and impose tariffs at will. States include New York, Illinois, Oregon, and Arizona. They say that the move bypasses Congress and disrupts the U.S. economy. They argue that no other president in nearly 50 years has used IEEPA to justify tariffs during a national emergency. New York Attorney General Letitia James said Trump's actions break the law and will raise prices for working families. The lawsuit joins other legal challenges from small businesses and civil rights groups, as well as a separate case filed by California last week. The court has yet to announce a date for the hearing. Tensions flared on Wednesday evening at Yale University as Free Palestine students set up an encampment to protest the visit of far-right Israeli politician Itamar Ben-Gvir. The demonstration began at 6 p.m. local time with about 25 students wearing ribbons and holding musical performances. By 9:30 p.m., the crowd grew and 8 tents were erected, violating university rules against unauthorized structures. Ben-Gvir, a right-wing extremist who has called for the expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza, which is illegal in international law, is visiting the U.S. for the first time, with events in New Haven and New York. His host, Yale alum and Shabtai founder Shmuley Hecht, defended the invitation, calling it a stand for Jewish safety in what he called a toxic Ivy community. The protest coincided with Bulldogs Days, Yale's welcome event for more than 1,300 new students. University officials, including Assistant Vice President Pilar Montalvo, warned protesters of potential disciplinary action, distributing cards linking to Yale's free speech policies via QR codes. Students chanted, "Do not scan the QR code." The encampment was not officially linked to campus groups such as Sumud Coalition or Yalees for Palestine, though the protests echoed broader outrage over Israel's genocide in Gaza and Yale's defense ties. Yale's police and safety officers kept watch as counter-protesters circled the scene, filming the demonstration. A number of pro-Israel groups have filmed protests and student encampments, with at least one bragging that it has handed a list of students to deport to the Trump administration for their support of Palestine. Yale University has revoked the official status of Yalees for Palestine, a Free Palestine student group. This and more coming up next. Welcome back. Yale University has revoked the official status of Yalees for Palestine, a Free Palestine student group, after a protest encampment on campus. Yale said the group violated policies that all registered student organizations must follow. It cited Yalees for Palestine social media posts that encouraged participation in a protest and a statement allegedly claiming credit for the protest. The group denied organizing the event, but has been since removed from the Yale Connect, the university's student organization database. Yale is also investigating reports of anti-Semitic behavior during the protest, but gave no specific details. The move comes amid rising tensions and ongoing student activism over Israel's genocide in Gaza and university ties to military contractors. President Donald Trump has announced that he is suing the law firm Perkins Coie, accusing it of egregious and unlawful acts. In a post on his platform, Truth Social, Trump claimed the misconduct involved a specific member of the firm, but gave no names or details. Trump also slammed U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell, calling her biased and a disaster. He said she had previously ruled against him in a case that was later overturned. Trump described the judge's ruling as pathologically bad. He claimed Howell suffered from Trump derangement syndrome, insisting that she would rule against him no matter what. The lawsuit and his comments marked the latest in a string of legal and political attacks. There are growing fears that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has become a top target for foreign spies. Security experts say his repeated breaches of protocol, including past sharing of classified information on Signal, has severely damaged trust in the Pentagon. Experts say his conduct has exposed the Pentagon to unprecedented vulnerability at a time of intense global tension. Adversaries like Russia and China are reportedly ramping up surveillance of Hegseth's inner circle. Hegseth's inability to manage internal security, firing, and investigations has alarmed allies and intelligence agencies. Former officials warned that even indirect access, such as malware, on a family member's device could compromise U.S. military secrets. Earlier news broke that Hegseth had personally created a Signal group chat that included his wife, brother, and about a dozen other people to whom he then texted highly sensitive information. Previously, he discussed similar intelligence in a group chat on the same app, which included top officials in the Trump administration and a journalist from The Atlantic. Experts say Hegseth's actions have turned America's top defense post into a soft target and warned that his conduct is undermining global confidence in U.S. military leadership. Israel killed at least 50 more Palestinians in airstrikes on Gaza in the last 24 hours. The health ministry said 152 injured people were also transferred to hospitals. The dead include 4-year-old twin sisters Saba and Sana, who died in their sleep. The girls were among 6 family members killed when an Israeli missile struck their home in Gaza City's Tuffa neighborhood at 1 a.m. local time. Their parents and 2 siblings were also killed. A relative said that the girls screamed for their father before their lives were cut short. 9 people died in a separate strike on a former police station in Jabaliyah. Israel killed another 21 in multiple attacks across Gaza, including Khan Younis in the south. Israeli forces also opened machine gun fire on homes in eastern Gaza City and the Maghazi refugee camp. Israel resumed its military assault on Gaza on March 18th, breaking a ceasefire and prisoner exchange agreement in place since January. Israel has killed more than 51,355 Palestinians and injured more than 117,000, most of them women and children, since October 2023. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and ex-Defense Minister Yoav Gallant over alleged war crimes in Gaza. Israel also forces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice. Illegal Israeli settlers have attacked the Palestinian town of Sinjil, north of Ramallah, in the central occupied West Bank. The attackers set fire to Palestinian barracks and vehicles, causing extensive damage. Palestinian properties were rendered unusable due to the fire. Tensions have been high in the occupied West Bank, where more than 956 Palestinians have been killed and more than 7,000 injured since the start of Israel's genocide in Gaza in October 2023. A funeral was held in Yemen's capital, Sana'a, for 7 people killed in a U.S. airstrike that targeted a marketplace in the city. Residents who gathered to mourn the victims condemned the attack and called for accountability. Last month, President Donald Trump ordered powerful military action against the Houthi group. The Houthis have targeted ships passing through the Red and Arabian Sea, the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, and the Gulf of Aden since November 2023 in solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. Red Crescent workers gathered outside their headquarters in Younis in southern Gaza to protest the killing of their colleagues in Israeli army attacks. Demonstrators carried posters of the dead and held banners declaring targeting health workers equates to attacking humanity and emphasizing that they were killed while saving lives. Dr. Haider al-Qudra, director of Palestinian Red Crescent Society in Khan Younis, demanded justice for his fallen colleagues. India and Pakistan are inching closer to a strategic standoff after a deadly attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that killed 26 tourists. Both countries have launched tit-for-tat diplomatic and trade actions, sparking fears of further escalation between the nuclear-armed neighbors. India revoked all visas for Pakistani nationals, including medical permits, effective April 27th. Pakistan retaliated swiftly, expelling Indian defense, naval, and air advisors. It also cut India's diplomatic staff in its capital, Islamabad, to 30, and most significantly, shut its airspace to Indian-operated flights. All bilateral and third-country trade has also been suspended. Islamabad has warned that any attempt by India to divert water after suspension of Indus water treaties would be considered an act of war. Civilians on both sides are bearing the brunt. Several Pakistani families began returning from India early, fearing further fallout. Meanwhile, internal anger is rising in India over security failures that led to the attack in Kashmir. A grieving widow of a victim publicly confronted a minister, blaming the government for ignoring intelligence lapses and leaving tourist areas unprotected. Analysts warn the breakdown in diplomacy, trade, and communications is dangerous and could lead to a long-term instability in South Asia. That's all from our Washington, D.C. studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We're dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. Please donate at muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.